Senior Moments, sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group on News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
Good morning and welcome to the Senior Moment Show. We are back again with another show. Sid, how are you?
I am fantastic today. How about you, Bruce?
I am also fantastic in almost every way except I have a little cough.
Yes, I heard that.
Yeah, so we're doing okay, though. So my name is Bruce Lee. Sid Roeder is my co-host, and we are back again, and we have a special guest here, kind of a fun guest, David Zook. He's the Cache County Executive, so welcome, David.
Thanks, Bruce. Good morning, Bruce and Sid.
We'll get to know David a little bit more here in just a second, but before we get rolling, I dare not interrupt Sid and her desire to talk about our sponsor.
Oh, of course. Our sponsor is the Empowering Seniors Group, which is a group of professionals that has dedicated their time and effort to provide information to seniors, their family members, and really anybody who cares. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors Group, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. And lastly, if you have any suggestions for our show, any guests you'd like to have us invite, you can call me personally at 435-512-6406.
Thank you, Sid. And thank you to our sponsors that allow us to do this and bring information to everybody out there. Hopefully that's helpful and useful. And I suspect that what we're going to talk about today will be both of those things. So
I hope so.
Yeah. It's good to have David here. He's not only the Cache County Executive, he's a good friend, and I've known him for a couple years now. How long has it been?
Yeah, we've worked together for probably close to a decade now.
Close to a decade. So we've had a lot of good experiences. He's a good man. But let's why don't you introduce yourself, David? Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with politics and being the Cache County Executive.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, and I'd love to explain a little bit of that. You and I, Bruce, we've worked together on the Chamber of Commerce Board for many years. You were a council member, and I knew you. I worked for another city at the time. I was a city manager for Nibley City for about a decade and helped run that city. And just over a year ago now, I can't believe it's been a year, I got elected as county executive. And I had been interested in doing this for a while because I love my community. I love Cache County, don't we all? That's why we all live here. We love this beautiful place. And sometimes you see something and you think, I wonder if we could do that better. I wonder if we could fix that. I wonder if that challenge could be tackled in a different way. I wonder if there's some way we could improve this thing. I'm always thinking that way, at least. Maybe I'm crazy, but I am always thinking about things like that. And that's why I wanted to be county executive, because I see things going on in our community and I think, let's make that better. Let's improve. Let's make this a better place for our kids, for us. And it's a variety of things. It could be traffic. It could be our economy. It could be public safety. There are a lot of things like that just I care about them. And so I had several friends too who said, David, you should do this. You'd be great as county executive. And so they convinced me. I said no many times, but I ultimately did it, and I got elected. The voters decided to give me this opportunity, and so I've been in office for a little over a year now as county executive. And you probably want to ask me what a county executive is.
What is a county executive?
That is probably the most common question I've gotten, actually, in the past year, because I'm actually the only one in the state of Utah who is called a county executive. We have some different forms of government at the county level. Some counties have commissioners. Salt Lake County is actually the only county that has our same form of government, where there's a council and an executive. They call their executive the county mayor down in Salt Lake County. We call ours a county executive. It's the same office under the law. So I operate in a similar role that a mayor might for a city, and I'm the chief executive officer for Cache County. That means I run the day-to-day operations. We have a couple dozen department heads who answer to me, and this is a really interesting thing too. That's part of the job. Not only am I the CEO of the organization, but I represent the county on about 24 different boards and committees. So everything from the airport board to the health department, the Bear River Mental Health, Bear River Association of Governments, the Solid Waste Board, the Fire District Board. There are a ton of these boards that I represent the county on, which it's a lot of work. That's a lot of time. It's a big time commitment, but I'm glad that I get to do that because I get to give our citizens a voice in each of those boards and each of those decision-making bodies.
Sounds like you're the most educated person in the valley then. Let's maybe talk a little bit. Since you've come to office, I've noticed that you've generated a Facebook presence, which I find wonderful because the citizens have an opportunity to follow you and be informed about the goings on in Cache Valley. Maybe you want to talk a little bit about your priorities.
Yeah, that's a great question, Sid. And the social media part, I have always hated social media. I never spent much time on there. But when I got into office, and actually when I was running for election, I heard something from a lot of voters, and they said, you know what we would like you to do? We want you to tell us what you're up to. Tell us what the county's doing. Tell us what's happening, and keep us informed. So that was a promise I made, and grudgingly, it took me several months to get into the habit of doing this, but I've been trying to do an update about every day. I try to put something on Facebook and just tell people, here's something that's going on. Here's a meeting I went to. Here's an issue we're working on. So if people want to look me up on Facebook, it's just David Zook, Z like zebra, O-O-K. That's my personal one. I put pretty much everything on my personal one. I have a David Zook County Executive page too, if they want to follow that. That's more official stuff. But you asked about priorities. And when I was running for election a year ago, I thought, I need to tell the voters what I'm going to do when I get into office. And I thought, well, I know what my priorities are going to be. Number one, public safety. We're blessed to live in a very safe community. And that's one of the things I love most about our community. I want it to stay safe. So I made that my number one priority. I've worked on a few things over the last year related to our sheriff deputies, our fire department, our ambulance service. Our ambulance service is much better now than it was about a year ago. We've got more ambulances. We've got paramedics on all of our ambulances. We upgraded the EMT's skill level. So that's a big one. Transportation is another one. That's roads. Everybody knows that our roads are getting more congested. So that was my number two priority that I decided to focus on. Economic development was another one. Preserving our open space. I mentioned I'm the CEO of the county organization, so that's a priority. I want to make sure I modernize, I implement technology, I make sure we're as efficient as possible, we're good stewards of the public's tax dollars. And then the last one that I made a priority is social services. We have a lot of social services needs and everywhere from our senior center that we provide to our library to our mental health services. That's something I've been focusing on a lot the last year.
Thank you, David. We're already coming up on our first break here in a hurry, but maybe one last question, David. If any citizen would like to get in touch with you, I know you have a very busy schedule. What's the best way? Is it email or to call your office? What works?
I'll just give my personal cell phone. If there's somebody who has a question, send me a text. That's actually the best way to get through because I am often in meetings. But my number is 435-890-9239. That's my personal cell phone, 890-9239. You can text me anytime, and I'll get back to you if you have a question.
Thank you, David. This is the Senior Moments Show. We're going to take a short break, but we'll be right back.
Oh, it seems like yesterday I was playing with my kids on the playground.
Seems like yesterday I was building a treehouse in the backyard.
Time goes by too fast, but there is something you can do to ensure you're taken care of down the road. I'm Tracy Ferris with Quality First Insurance. A long-term care insurance policy is something we all need as we get older. If you wait until you need it, you're too late. Let me help you understand the options and benefits of long-term care insurance. Call me today, 435-752-0101.
When it comes to successful aging, eating well matters. Staying physically active matters. Getting socially engaged matters. Living alone, aging alone, it's harder to consistently do that. Hi, this is Chris Grohl with Pioneer Valley Lodge, where we make it easier to do those things every day. Our mission at Pioneer Valley Lodge in North Logan is to help seniors live better, age more gracefully, and stay independent for as long as possible. Pioneer Valley Lodge, an independent living community for seniors.
Whether you have a small business, large corporation, or sole proprietorship, remember Cook Martin Polson has provided quality accounting services since 1977. At Cook Martin Polson, they believe you've earned it, and they're going to help you keep it. Take a minute right now to call 750-5566. That's 750-5566 to set up your tax appointment and let Cook Martin Polson show you how to keep the money you have earned.
This is Jared Ripplinger with Cook Martin Polson. You've worked hard for your money. Let us help you keep it.
This is Mark Thurston from White Pine Funeral Services. On behalf of all of us here at White Pine, we want to thank the community of Cache Valley for your support this past year. Thank you for selecting us as a silver winner for the Best of Northern Utah. We look forward to many more years of working with you here in our community. We know you have a choice, and we hope you will consider White Pine Funeral Services. If you have questions about cremation, funerals, or planning ahead, please contact us or visit whitepinefunerals.com.
White Pine Funeral Services, here when you need us most.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we are speaking with David Zook, who is the Cache County Executive. Before we went to break, Dave was telling us about some of his priorities that he's been working on this past year in his role as the Cache County Executive. And we were talking during the break a little bit about the legislative session that's currently going on. How does the county in the legislative session, how do you interact with that?
That's a great question, Bruce. It's a very busy time. We need to stay engaged with them. We have several great legislators from our valley here, from Cache County, who represent parts of Cache County, both in the state Senate and the House. And we need to stay engaged with them because there are sometimes things that get introduced there that could be bad for our county, bad for our citizens. So we want to make sure we're keeping an eye on that. And if there's something that we think could cause problems, we go tell them about it and ask them to make sure it doesn't get passed. But mostly, we are down there talking to them about things that we could do to improve things in our community. And before the break, I mentioned some of the priority areas I was working on, like public safety, transportation. Those are some things that I've been talking to them about, those specific topic areas, like public safety, for example. I'll tell you this one about public safety. You guys are familiar with Maloof. Maloof is a great local company here, and they actually started a foundation. They've been doing a lot of work on keeping kids safe, fighting against child trafficking, child exploitation. And they actually had a couple of events last year where they brought in experts from across the country. And we brought some of our law enforcement, our prosecutors, our sheriff deputies, and we met with these experts, and we started talking about what are some of the things that we need to do to make sure our kids are safer here in Cache County and in Utah. And one of the things that we realized, or that we talked about in that meeting, is child exploitation, which when I say that, what I'm talking about is child pornography. That's what that means under the law, is child pornography. And you might think, how does something like that even exist? Unfortunately, it's huge. It exists, and it's huge. And it has increased probably 50% over the last couple of years, 50%. And how much child pornography there is on the internet that's being shared. It's disgusting. It's horrible. And children are being victimized in order to create it. And I'm not talking about just pictures, but videos too. People share this stuff. People victimize kids. And it's horrible. And that's something that we realized, is that this is getting really bad. Do you know, just in the first 2 months of the year, we've had about 20 arrests in Cache County for child pornography. It's a big problem. So one of the things our prosecutors and our law enforcement told us is, yeah, we're arresting these people left and right, but they get a slap on the wrist. They just get released, and they can then go victimize other people. So what we realize is we need to go to our legislature, convince them to toughen the penalties for these guys, so that they're not just getting a slap on the wrist, but they actually get some kind of a serious punishment. So I went to Senator Wilson, Chris Wilson, who represents us here in Logan, and explained to him what we talked about there. And he said, I will run a bill. I'll run a bill, and we will toughen these penalties. So that's SB 167. We've got 1 week left in the legislature, and I hope that one passes in this next week, because it does exactly that. It will toughen the penalties for these child sexual predators and hopefully get them behind bars for a lot longer. I'll tell you, this is an example, horrible case. Thousands of images, videos, all kinds of horrible things. The Canadian Mounted Police found somebody on the internet who was peddling this stuff. They tracked him down, found out he was in the United States, sent it to the FBI. FBI and Homeland Security started working on this. We've got 3 agencies now working on this. They found out he's in Cache County, so they involved our county law enforcement here. We found the guy, we arrested him, we prosecuted him, he was convicted. He got 60 days in jail. 4 law enforcement agencies, horrible stuff this guy was peddling. He got 60 days in jail. That's the kind of thing that we're trying to fix, that we're trying to stop. And so that's the kind of thing we're doing with the legislatures. We're going down there, we're talking to them about needs. I'll tell you another one. This is public safety and transportation. And it's getting cell towers in Logan Canyon. Any of us who've driven through Logan Canyon, we know that after a couple of minutes in the canyon, you don't have cell service anymore, and you don't get it again until you get to the top.
It's my
you can
one
see
break
Bear
in the
Lake.
day, David.
Yeah, it's your one break when no one can call you, no one can
That's
text
right.
you, no one can expect you to respond to them. But what if you got into an accident in the middle of the canyon? How would somebody call for help? How would somebody call 911? There's no way to get the word out unless you have a ham radio, which not very many people have with them. You might have to have somebody drive for 30 minutes before they can get a signal, and then how long is it going to take the help to get there? Another 30 minutes. So I've been talking to UDOT, the Forest Service, the governor's office. We've been working on a project. We're trying to get funds so we can put a fiber optic line through the canyon, and then the cell tower companies will come in. They'll put in a tower, they'll connect to it, and we'll have cell service there. So if there's an emergency, we hear about accidents all the time in the canyon. People slide off into the river. There are car accidents, head-on collisions. People have accidents while they're rock climbing, they're skiing, they're snowmobiling, a whole variety of things. People do active things up there, and they sometimes have accidents. We need them to be able to call 911 when that happens. So I'm hoping that one of the other things we see come out of this legislative session is funding to be able to put that fiber optic line through the canyon.
So what are some of the other hot topics that you see or saw going on with the legislative session right now?
Here's another really big topic. It's related to Utah State University. You know, they have a vet school there right now, and it's only half the program that happens here in Cache County. The students come in, they learn how to be a veterinarian, and then they finish their last 2 years of their program out of state at a different school. And that means we're losing graduates, we're losing tuition, we're losing millions of dollars every year that could be here. And there is actually no vet school in the Intermountain West. We have a huge area of our country that is unserved when it comes to vet schools. So they're pushing for making a full-fledged program here at Utah State. It would be incredible for our economy because we, over the last couple of years especially, we've learned about the importance of science related to animals, related to viruses, genetics, all of these types of things. They'll be on the cutting edge of all of those things.
David, before we go into our second break, maybe we'll take another chance too. If somebody has any questions about the things that go on in Cache County, would you give us your phone number again? Yeah, absolutely. People can call me or text me. My personal cell phone number is 435-890-9239, and they can just follow David Zook or David Zook County Executive on Facebook, get updates, and that's spelled Z like zebra, O-O-K. Thank you, David. This is the Senior Moments Show. Again, we are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about the Empowering Seniors, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info, or you can email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. We're going to take a little break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
This is Brian Erickson for the Sunshine Minute. Each day, our nurses, CNAs, cooks and servers, housekeepers, laundry staff, music, recreation therapy teams, office staff, receptionists, and many more arrive around the clock. These heroes show up ready and willing to serve and protect our residents and clients. We are so grateful to our dedicated team. On behalf of the Board of Sunshine Terrace Foundation and our community, thank you to all of our employees for keeping us safe. We bring more to life together.
If you're retired or plan to retire soon, will you outlive your money or will your money outlive you? If you don't know the answer, I can help. Hi, I'm Patty Bartholomew, a financial consultant with Parsonex Securities. If you have questions about your financial plan or just need a second opinion, call me today at 435-227-5556.
Investments are not FDIC insured, nor are they deposits of or guaranteed by a bank or any other entity, so they may lose value. Investors should carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the funds. This and other important information is contained in each fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, which can be obtained from a financial professional and should be read carefully before investing. Securities offered through Parsonex Securities, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC, 8310 South Valley Highway, Suite 110, Inglewood, Colorado, 80112-303-662-8700.
Did you know that one of the greatest threats to our quality of life is a fall? 1/3 of Americans 65 and older, and 1/2 of those over 80 will fall this year. Many will never be the same again, and some will never return to their homes. This is Bruce at Comfort Care. One of the ways we can help people stay in their home is through our free in-home fall protection survey. Let us help you identify these fall risks. Call us at 754-7676. Comfort Care, 754-7676.
Want an inexperienced surgeon?
Okay, nurse, I'm ready for the scalpel.
How about an inexperienced airline pilot?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain, and I'm terrified.
Experience matters, and we have it.
Hi, this is Sid Roeder with Achievement Realty. I am a senior real estate specialist.
I'd love to meet with you face-to-face and give you a free consultation and market analysis. Call me today at 512-6406. Then list it, sell it, and move on.
Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram offers free delivery service 5 days a week, Monday through Friday throughout the valley. Just stay home and they will deliver to you. With 25 different suppliers, they won't have the shortage that others might have. Also, with compounding and many other services, they will be able to serve all your needs. In order to stay safe and help slow the spread, please call Reed's Pharmacy in Hiram at 245-DRUG, and they will take care of you.
Welcome back to the Senior Moment Show. If you're just joining us today, we're speaking with David Zook. He is the Cache County Executive here in good old Cache County. We've been learning about him and what's going on with the legislative session and some of his priorities. But I'm curious what a day in the life of a county executive looks like.
You want your show to be interesting, right?
We've got lots of problems out there. We know there's lots of things to solve, and we could probably spend the next few hours talking about all those things. But I'm just curious, from the standpoint of what's the job? What are you doing in a day?
That's actually, I think. It could be interesting. Let me see if I can make it interesting. I mentioned earlier how I oversee the county departments. So I have a variety of meetings with county staff about different issues, department heads. Could be funding issues, could be personnel issues, could be technology issues. There's always something going on. We have 400 employees, so a lot of different departments, a couple dozen departments. And so that's a big piece of what I do, is just running the day-to-day operations, overseeing the financial side of things. I'm the budget officer, so that means I actually draft, introduce, sponsor the budget. The county council gets to decide what the budget ultimately is, and then I manage it. I oversee the finances. That's kind of a boring piece, I think, but very important, critical, and it's important that we ensure that we're good stewards of the public's tax dollars. So we need to be as efficient as possible. And then I mentioned earlier, too, that I serve on a couple dozen different boards and committees. So I have every day, if not one, several different meetings that I'll be running from here or there, too, whether it's the health department or the fire district, a county council meeting even, and just making decisions. We're bringing together people to make decisions about things that are going on in our community. A big issue that's going on right now, people may have read about in the newspaper or heard on the radio. Logan City decided that they don't want to provide garbage collection services for everyone in the county, like has been the case for nearly 50 years. So that's a big issue we're going to tackle. We have a solid waste advisory board. I also serve on another group. It's called the Mayors Association, myself and the 19 city mayors. We're going to get together this coming week and talk about that issue, figure out how can we tackle this, what are the solutions, how do we resolve the challenges that are before us. So lots of meetings. I'm a professional meeting attender is what I tell people. It's from meeting to meeting to meeting. Sometimes I'm meeting with the local business about issues they're having. Sometimes I'm meeting with citizens and hearing about their concerns. I've tried to be very involved with our nonprofit sector and meeting with them, learning from them. Over the past year, I met with dozens of different nonprofit organizations, learned about what they do. I am so thankful. I just want to say this. I'm so thankful for the nonprofit organizations we have, because they do so much good in our community. And oftentimes, nobody even knows that they're doing these things. but they make our community better. And if it weren't for them, who would be providing those services? The government most likely would have to step in and provide these services. And I'll say this, being somebody who works in government, the government is not efficient. The government is not nearly as efficient as a nonprofit organization. They know how to get things done. They get volunteers involved. They're very frugal. They actually set a great model for us in government.
Thank you, David, for that comment. Our time's running out, so is there one, in the break we talked about road projects. Do you want to talk about that briefly before our time is up?
Yeah, I mentioned that was one of my top priorities over the last year, working on road projects. And we were pretty successful last year in getting over $70 million in funding, either secured or out there on the streets, literally out on the streets on road projects. And we've got to fight for that. Sometimes we don't get our fair share of road dollars here. We send a lot of tax dollars down to Salt Lake, and then the state distributes that back around the state. Historically, we haven't gotten our fair share up here, and that's something I said I was going to fight for. I said, I'm going to make sure that we get our fair share, and that if they forget about us, I'll remind them what our needs are. And I said that last January, and by March, I had to keep my promise because I got told that we were being forgotten, and that our biggest need here in our valley, Main Street, everybody knows there's a lot of traffic on Main Street. If you ask UDOT what the top most important projects are that need to be fixed around the state are, our Main Street in Cache County is number 8 most important in the entire state that needs to be fixed. So when the state was handing out money last year and that project wasn't on there to fix Main Street, we had to go remind them, and we made sure that they knew that was important to us, that was a problem, that we needed money to fix it. We got $52 million to fix Main Street. We're going to go back for more. Logan and UDOT are working on a plan to figure out what the best solution is, but my job is to make sure that we don't get forgotten about, and the money is there to do the project when we need it.
Thank you so much, David. Maybe one last time before we get out of this show, David, would you share your phone number with our listeners?
Sure, yeah. If anybody's interested in reaching out to me, send me a text message. My personal cell phone number is 435-890-9239, and you can follow me on Facebook, David Zook, or David Zook County Executive.
Thank you so much for coming in, David. I think this was very educational. I hope our listeners heard about a few things that is interesting to them, and we do get some feedback. Again, this is the Senior Moment Show. We are sponsored by the Empowering Seniors Group. If you'd like to learn more about them, you can do so online at empoweringseniors.info or email us at empoweringseniorscv@gmail.com, and the CV stands for Cache Valley. We hope you tune in again next week.